I think there's a few misconceptions about Paragon, perhaps, and maybe by stating them, I hope I don't create them. One of them is that we're this small young upstart company. There's a standard joke in the industry that how do you become an overnight success? Well, you work at it for about 20 years. And we'll be 20 years old in May of next year. May of 2013, we'll have been going for 20 years. We are not fly by night, that's for sure. Really what our customers always comment about us, our new customers and the ones that stay with us, is that we have the best knowledge of all the effects we have on a spacecraft. When you're in the life support system world, you need to know what you're doing to everybody else, and you need to know what everybody else is doing, because the life support system, which includes active thermal control, you have to cool the electronics. If you've got extra power fluctuating on your vehicle, you got to know about it, because it will size your radiators, it will fluctuate the size of your radiators, fluctuate the size of your pumps. So you become very, very good systems engineers. And more than once, we have stepped in on a program, and they bring us in as thinking, okay, well, we're going to get a little bit of environmental control advice out of them, and we start asking the questions about, okay, where's your master schematics and exactly what is attached to what, and is the watts that you put out on this piece of electronics 50 or 150 watts? It makes a big difference when you're looking at the train. And they started answering these questions, and we end up walking them through a process, and in some cases we end up building full-up schematics that the providers didn't have before. They had schematics, but they were compartmentalized by the avionics team and the power team. And then we'll collect them together and say, well, do you know your power team only has 2 lines of 12-volt power, but your avionics is assuming there's 3, or it's very funny. We end up catching these things. So what we end up, like I said, getting a lot of comments is wow, Paragon really understands the system. They understand the effects that every decision has on what happens to the spacecraft, and we found that's very valuable for our customers.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to add or share with us today?
Well, yeah, I think just to build on that is it's really about value added. One of the things that sometimes frustrates us is and sometimes we get this with government contracts. They just ask what's your dollars per hour rate? And Paragon never has tried to compete on dollars per hour. I mean, to pay our engineers 10% less than somebody else's engineers, or keep our overhead absolutely so low, we're not spendthrifts. I mean, we're not going out trying to spend money, but we know that there's a certain level of value added for the dollar that's really ultimately what's the most important thing for any company. And we feel that we're the best value added for the dollar. We won't be the cheapest in dollars per hour, but probably when you add the number of dollars and the number of hours up, or you multiply the dollars per hour times the number of hours, we are going to be the cheapest way to go. And that gets tough sometimes, because we do very often get the government contract, and they look at just dollars per hour, and they say, you pay your engineers 5% more, or this engineer. And it's hard to argue back and say, well, but you realize we've already done this 3 times. So when we say the whole job's only going to take us 1,000 hours, and our competitor says, well, we pay ours 10% less and it's only going to take us 800 hours, there's a believability factor in there. After 20 years of business, I would hope that our customers, when we put a number down on the paper, they believe us.